Hello everyone! In this video I want to show you how you can install Tracelabs OSINT virtual machine on a virtual machine software called Parallels desktops. And I tried this against the VirtualBox, and there's a huge difference in performance between those two. But the installation wasn't without problems, and I'm gonna walk you through each step you have to take in order to get this set up efficiently. However, I must say that this is not intended for perhaps the correct configuration if you're doing some dark web investigations or something like that. So with that being said, I have already downloaded the OSINT 2020.2 version of the Tracelabs software. And if we open Parallels Desktop, we can see here that we can add a new machine if I press this plus icon. And I'm going to select install Windows or another OS from a DVD or image file. And I'm going to choose manually, find the file. And in my downloads folder, I have this .ova file extension. Now, it's not possible to open this file extension in Parallels Desktop, so we're going to have to find a different solution. And we're actually going to have to use VirtualBox to convert the file. So with that, I can also show you the performance difference that I have. So I'm going to open this in VirtualBox. So I'm just going to select the file here, click on it, and it will take me straight into VirtualBox because I already have that installed on my machine. And here I'm going to throw, let's say, like 8 gigs of RAM and 2 cores, so that's fine. And I'm going to import it. It's going to take a minute. I'm just going to fast forward. So here I have the machine, and I'm just going to boot it up. So the default login information here is OSINT, and the password is the same, OSINT. And now I'm inside the machine, so it's still loading up, and you can see here it's okay. I mean, I wouldn't say this is smooth or very responsive, but it's not bad. But I'm going to go here and fix the resolution. Turn this on here, DPI. Yes, thank you. And if I just open the browser, I clicked on it, and you can see how everything is quite choppy. And I'm just going to go and open a new tab, maybe close out the other ones. And I'm just going to try to load Instagram. So the loading speed is not bad. I didn't have to wait like 1 or 2 seconds and then it came up, so that's good. But everything else feels unresponsive. Just by moving this window, you can see how unresponsive it is. And with that in mind, I'm going to show you how we can load up the same OS in Parallels, but also at the same time show you the problems that we have the first time we load it and how we can solve it. So I'm just going to turn off this machine. Like so. And because we only have this OFV file that we downloaded, or OVA file, we're going to have to do things a little bit differently for Parallels. And one of the guides that I found was, it stated that just make a copy of the machine. So I already turned it on and everything's working properly here. I'm going to make a clone, and I'm going to name this clone here OSINT 2020, and let's just say Parallel Desktop PD. And continue. Full clone. Okay, now when that's done, I'm gonna do this again because I don't remember the path. So it was just VirtualBox VMs. So okay, I'm going to close this out. I'm going to open Parallels Desktop. I'm going to go into File, New, and Open. And I'm going to go into this directory, VirtualBox here, and here's the clone that I made. So I'm going to open that, and I'm going to select this VBox file. Now it converted, and I can give it a new name. I'm just going to keep the name for reference. And let Parallel do its magic for a while. So I'm going to skip ahead. So the conversion is done. So we're now booting up the machine. And I'm just going to have it, maybe just make it a little bit bigger, but not necessarily go into full screen. Like so. Now while that is loading, we can see that at the top right hand here, we have an exclamation mark. And if we press that, it says install Parallels tools. This is something that we want to do on our machine to get extra functionality. And we're going to cover that later. But now here it is, our machine. So I'm going to type in OSINT, log in. And actually, let's just go full screen here. And I might have to fix the DPI back. Yeah, this is better. This is better. Okay, so I'm going to open up the browser again. And the first thing maybe that we're going to see is we don't have any internet connection, but also you can see how it's much more smoother than the other machine. I mean, the difference is almost ridiculous. So, but I'm going to try here, Instagram.com, and it's not loading. So we're going to have to first by fixing that. And if I just turn off, well, let me see, I can go here into settings of the machine. And let's look up. So when I copied over the machine, we can see here that we don't have any network. So that's the first thing that we have to fix. And to be able to do any changes here, it says here that we have to turn off our virtual machine. So let's do that. So let's just shut it down. You can see that it's much smoother, much faster. Click plus here and add the network, like so. Just going to use the shared network. Keep here everything default and boot it up again. The boot time is also much faster, of course. Alright, so now we're in. The machine has booted up. I'm going to log in. And hopefully now we will have some network to work with. Just see that it's crazy smooth. But now we're going to see immediately a different type of problem. It's going to take a very long time to load pages. And for the longest time, I thought maybe this was a problem with Parallels, because this is not a problem that we had in the VirtualBox. I mean, it was choppy, but the internet was working quite fine. So if I just go here and type in Instagram, it's okay. I mean, it's not, well, it's still actually loading, but once it has cached the website, it's actually fast, but it's useless for us if we're doing some OSINT investigations. So we're going to need some very fast and responsive browsing experience. So to fix that, of course, we want to update our system, but if we run this right now, every request is going to be very slow, just like our internet browsing. So we're going to have to tackle that problem first. So I'm going to swipe back here, and I have found two links. I actually contacted Parallels and asked them if they could help me with this. And the first thing that we need to do, at least on their end, is to get the Parallels tools working. And we can see here that we have some exclamation mark. I press that. It wants to install it using some DVD or image file, and basically nothing happens here for us automatically. So we're going to have to do a little manual way, but this is here a really good guide to install these Parallels toolbox into the virtual machine. So I'm just going to go through this step by step, but I'm going to add this link here to the show notes so you can just copy paste it directly into your browser and follow along. It's also good that to just minimize this here, and we can just have this running side by side. So I'm going to do this now. So it says here, before installing Parallels tools, we recommend creating a fresh snapshot. So let's do that. So I'm going to go here into actions. No, where was it? Yep, take a snapshot. And just Parallels toolbox installation. Okay. So that's done. So as you start the machine, log in, ask us to use the sudo. We don't have that password, so I'm just going to use sudo, the sudo command every time. But verify that the repository for Kali Linux are correct. These are correct. I have checked it before, but I can show you here. Space there. Okay. And it wants to ask us if we have this route here, which we do right here. So this is fine. So we can just exit. And I'm thinking if I just maybe shrink it down like that. Okay, update the Kali Linux environment to the latest version. So I'm just going to do here sudo apt get clean, and then sudo apt get update. This is going to take a while. I'm just going to fast forward through this. So the next thing we want to do is sudo apt get upgrade. That's why. And this will actually take a while. So it's probably going to take like 10 minutes or something. So we will just come back when that's done. All right, so this probably took around 10 to 15 minutes to complete. So I'm just going to upgrade. And let's run that. And finally, we're going to run this command right here. I'm going to type it in. All right, so that didn't take long. So now we can continue with these steps. And I'm just going to bypass all of this. And it says restart Kali Linux and then install Parallel tools by running the installer. Execute the following commands in Kali. So let's do that. Let's restart the machine. Sudo eject dev/cd-rom. Always type in the password. Okay. Now it says, please click on the explanation icon located in the top right corner of your virtual machine, then click on install Parallels tools. So let's try this again. Continue. Nothing seems to have happened, but let's just continue by creating these directories. So I'm just going to follow these steps here, and I'm just going to tag all of these lines with sudo. So sudo make dir media/pt. Type in the password, and then again sudo make dir / I'm not going to go into root. I'm going to go straight into desktop here because that's the correct path. And it says here pt. And I have already created that file. So that's fine. Let's just continue. And then I'm going to say mount dev/cd-rom to media pt. And I forgot about sudo. So let's try this again. /media/pt. Okay, that's fine. And then I'm gonna do a copy recursively from media pt to desktop pt. And once again, sudo. Okay, and then I'm gonna open that directory. And yeah, one further. And then I'm gonna run this install sudo install. One more try. All right. So welcome to the Parallels Tools installer. Yes, sure, I'm gonna hit next. Yes, fine. And let's just scroll down here while this is working. It actually has this blue background here on the screenshot, but still doing the same thing. So once this happened here, it says we should restart Kali Linux, and we may experience some graphical issues or glitches. So that should happen to us, and I'm gonna make sure that it does and show you what we can do to fix that. But I'm gonna fast forward here until this installation is complete. Okay, so now this is done, so I'm just gonna hit reboot and let's see what happens to our machine, if we have any glitches or not. I type in here OSINT. And this is what happens. We just have a white blank screen, but everything is running in the background. We just cannot see it. So we have some graphical issues, because you can see here, if I select here and move my mouse cursor, you can see here it is changing. It's finding something to resize. I can click here. Yeah. So something's happening right here. So the machine is running. It's not rendering correctly. So we can, and let's just shut down the machine. Let's come to the settings in the hardware, and we must select graphics. And yeah, I'm gonna beef this up a little bit. And into advanced settings, I'm gonna turn this off. So by turning this off, we will have, or should see again, the screen. So I'm gonna turn this back on. And there we go. Everything's working just fine. And now we would probably want to run this DPI scaling again. I'm typing in DPI, pressing enter, scaling this up a little bit. This is much better. All right, so restart. Now we're at this step. In Kali Linux terminal, please copy and execute the following commands. And that's exactly what we're gonna do. So is there a way for me to make this bigger? Yeah, never mind. I'm just gonna type this line by line, and I think maybe now, since I have, it seems like the explanation mark is gone, I'm hoping that I can paste. And I can. So now I can copy paste from the host machine into the guest machine. So I'm gonna say here sudo and run this. Grab this here, sudo, and paste. All right. Restart Kali Linux. That's it. Parallel tools are now installed for your Kali Linux virtual machine. Very nice. So I'm gonna hit restart. Now what's nice about having the parallel tools installed on the machine is that if you're working a lot on both OSs, so in Mac OS and in Kali Linux, or just any OS for that matter with Parallels, you can see here it immediately opened the last tool that I had open. But see here on the toolbar at the bottom, I can jump straight into the terminal of the machine, and it's marked with these two red bars. So if I open up browser now, have a look at here down. It actually opened up Firefox here, so I can easily swap between Chrome on my machine and jump into Firefox here. And now I can actually click here, and I'm outside of the virtual machine. Click here and it will open the terminal. So that's very nice. But the problem that we were trying to fix with all of this was the slow browser speed. So if we go to Instagram now, okay, it's fine. It's probably cached, but still not very fast. So let's try CNN.com. And we can immediately see that this is not good enough. We're gonna have to wait for a long time, and this has actually nothing to do with Parallels desktop. This is a DNS issue. So I actually found an article that gives us a very similar walkthrough. So we have very similar instruction right here, and I'm just gonna go through this guide step by step. So let's start by grabbing this command, so I can just copy paste it straight into the terminal. And we can see some name servers here. And here it says, you can actually just read this. I'm not going to read this thing in entirety for you. So we need to install this resolve conf. So I'm going to do that. So copy and paste. And need to sudo that. This is probably going to take a while, so I'll just fast forward to this. Okay, didn't take long. And now I'm gonna enable and run these services after the installation. So I'm just gonna grab these commands one by one. And this window will prompt you 3 times. So let's just type in our OSINT password. Next, we're gonna cat this file here and see what it does. You can actually skip this step if you want to. Okay. Now, modifying the resolve conf base, we're actually going to open up this here with the nano, and I'm going to tag it with sudo as well. And we're going to add these, and I'm just going to use these DNS records. You can use something else, but for me, this worked, so. And then I'm just going to exit and save. And press enter. Okay. And then we're gonna edit this file. I'm just gonna paste it in. Sudo insert DNS name server 1111 8888 and 8844. Hit escape and right quit. Bam. So I'm going to grab these lines here next, copy and paste. So we have the name server here 1111. And that's about it. So if we restart our machine now, I'm gonna hit here and restart. We can now try to check if the browser is faster. And I'm actually just gonna bump this up to full screen, because we should be at the very end. And I type in OSINT. And let's just fix oh, there we go. You can see here when I move the window, it's actually much smoother. When I type, it just happens immediately. And if I go to cnn.com now it's super fast. And I can try, let's say, let's go to Facebook. I haven't cast that yet. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. So now we can easily browse. Everything is set up, running. We have updated everything in the system. And if you need, well, sound as well, and just have to, maybe enable it like so. If that's going to give you any problems, you're just going to have to come here into settings and see, we got the sound here. I have had issues when I opened OS here that I had to actually manually add the sound feature. So that's it for this tutorial. Thank you so much for watching.